How are you feeling?
I'm I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good, yeah.
I feel like prepping kind of like gets everything all like anxious and like, what's going on? Like, well, for me it is.
Yeah, this is the first time I do anything like this, so this is very new. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you for having me.
welcome. Yeah, I hope you're ready to talk.
I think so. Always talk too much. Just tell me to shut up.
No, you're good. Talking's good. It actually gets the pressure off me, so feel free to elaborate on your answers or anything like that.
Okay.
So.
Cool. All right.
Well, welcome. I like your whole ensemble.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Just a regular outfit.
It's not. It's a cool outfit. You like match my flamingo and palm trees and.
Well, I'm glad that I matched the motif. If it looks good. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I like it.
Cool.
And the hat a lot.
Yeah, I think this hat's like he's like 6 years old.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I went back home on my trip, I went into my old room and I saw it up in the closet, and I was like, "Oh my god, my hat!" And I got it back. So.
Nice. Oh, did you think you lost it?
I did. I had lost it once, so I bought it again at the same shop.
Exact one?
Yeah.
Wow, and they still had it.
They did. Yeah. Except this hat, since it's kind of old, it used to have a different lace around the hat itself. This is just a shoelace.
What?
It's a blue shoelace.
Wow.
And then I had lost like the elaborate feather it had, so I just so I do have the option to switch out different feathers, so I can put like a really big one or a small one. Just depends on what is at Austin Creative Reuse Center.
Cool.
In the bag. So
I like it. It's more you, like, you know, kind of built a whole different look around it. So.
Yeah, cool. I had stopped wearing it because it didn't. The lace fell off, and I was like, well, what can I do? And I was going somewhere and kind of felt like wearing it. And
how does it stay still? Did you pin it down or?
No, I just tied it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just tied it, and yeah.
Very cool. You're like the best dressed guest I've ever had. No offense to my previous guests.
Thank you.
Well, before we get into really you, I should introduce who we have on the show. We have an artist. You do like paintings and murals and tagging.
Yeah, I
right?
I do sculpture, graffiti, murals. Yeah, so I kind of jack of all trades it, but I primarily focus on sculpture, contemporary sculpture, and murals.
Awesome.
So,
we have Ulysses.
Yes.
I want to make sure I say it right.
I mean, there's a lot of styles.
Yeah,
of
but
saying
Uli
it.
is like your nickname, right?
I go by Yuli.
Yuli.
Yeah, Yuli, hence my handle on Instagram, Yuli's Gold.
Does your family call you Yuli?
I mean, my family calls me Ulysses, which is really what I go by.
Okay.
But I've kind of adopted the term Yuli as an alternative way to say my name, and yeah. So.
Well, you're the only Ulysses I've ever met, so you should feel special.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to go by Yuli. People, whenever I start somewhere, whether it's a job or a job site, they ask me if there's any nickname that I go by, so I always tell them Yuli, and I just kind of cut that conversation out and just my name's Yuli, and then I know how well people know me if they call me Ulysses or Ulysses or
gotcha.
And so I kind of started Yuli fairly recently, but I mean it's just a name,
But it's how you sign your artwork.
I signed Yuli's and then Abara Gold.
Oh, cool. So, how did you? What gave you the idea of gold?
So there's a story from some person that their name was Ulysses as well, and I think how it goes is if anybody has more info on it, I'd be happy to hear it. But it's a gentleman by the name of Ulysses that had honey, Texas honey. And when I was trying to brand myself and just really establish a name for myself, or a signature, a pen mark, I was thinking midnight oil. And just I'm always up late working on projects, trying to meet deadlines, so burning the midnight oil, candlelight, all that jazz. And then I thought about the color of honey and how it's kind of translucent, kind of gold looking. So then I just went ahead and then just decided to go with Ulysses gold, which is I believe that's my gift that I can give to the world, is my artwork. So I consider it as valuable as gold. So I decided to go with Ulysses gold.
I like it. It's catchy.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, it's cool. I've really gotten used to it.
Yeah. Cool. Just to go back, I think the first time we met was at Art Erotica.
Yeah, man, that was
a few years
like
ago.
3, almost 4 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that was crazy. That show was cool. I really liked it. I haven't touched bases with him again ever since that. Haven't heard from them again, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Do you know if anyone tried auctioning for your?
I did. I sold
Oh, cool.
both of the pieces. Yeah.
Awesome.
They were cool. They weren't as intense, but they were sensual and erotic.
Yeah.
I liked them. I liked them a lot.
Didn't you use a Sharpie on a mirror? Was that one of them?
Well, I used Sharpie over kind of like a reflective poster board. When you put it in the sun, it looks like a mirror, but when you put it in light, it reflects different colors, kind of like a rainbow.
Gotcha.
Like
Okay.
little shards.
Right.
So I drew something. I drew like a very sensual and sexy Bulma from Dragon Ball.
Oh, nice.
The very young.
Yeah, I know it was
sexy
anime.
Bulma, and yeah, I did a little take on it, and it was good. It sold pretty quickly. I don't know how much, but all I know is that any of the pieces sold, the proceeds would benefit helping people living with AIDS and trying to pay for their medication or bills or food for whatever circumstance. There's an allotted amount of money that's donated towards that cause. So I thought it was cool, and I was like, okay, I don't mind. I can help people out with some art.
Yeah. Was that the first and only time you've submitted at Art Erotica?
Yeah, that was the first time. Like I was telling you before, after that I tried following up, but never. I don't know if it's still going on or.
I think it is, but they changed locations, if I'm not mistaken. But I think the year that I went, or the first year that I submitted, was the first time they had it at that old Home Depot. Because that's where it was, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't been there in a while. I've only submitted twice.
And did you sell your?
I don't know. I know. I remember, isn't there an app that you could have kept track of? I didn't really care, honestly. I just wanted to get in for free.
Yeah, it was a cool show, man.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was super cool.
They have entertainment.
Yeah,
free food.
It was really cool. Free food, entertainment, art.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was one of my first art events here in Austin. So it was cool to be introduced during that realm.
Right. Yeah, and you meet a lot of people. Well, for me, I always end up seeing someone that I was following on Instagram or whatever. Oh, that's so-and-so. And, because the art world, I think, or the art community in Austin is so small.
Yeah, it's, Austin is definitely better than as far as art where I was used to doing things, but for sure I do feel, they do need a little bit more of, like a First Fridays that's
Yeah.
more closely put together, as far as you're not having a difficult time trying to choose who to go to,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more centralized, so you
Right.
can actually have like a day that you actually go from gallery to gallery. I know Canopy has some events like that sometimes, but yeah, there's like little organizations here and there that, or artists that decide to have their showings
Mm-hmm.
on the same day or night, because it is the first Friday of the month, so a lot of stuff's going up. But if you go to one, let's say on Springdale, then there's another one maybe across town.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you go to a music festival, you know, you're trying to pick and choose
Right.
who to go, and it's kind of hard to hit everything. So you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just send a quick memo. Hey, man, sorry, Mr. Show. I'll catch you next time.
Have you participated in East before?
No, but I'm actually going to apply for this year.
Cool.
So I know it's open right now, and I feel like I'm a little better prepared
Yeah.
than the previous years. I honestly started really just going forward with my artwork within this past year.
Really?
Yeah, as far as like here in Austin, at least, is like
Mhm.
really getting my work out there.
Mm-hmm.
When I came to Austin, I was taking care of my little nephew.
Oh, I remember.
So
in
I
your
was a
stories.
Manny
Yeah.
for a whole year. So I
Yeah.
was up north, so I was kind of away from a lot of things, and you know, my respect to single parents,
Mm-hmm.
my respect to single mothers that do it on their own. When I was doing it, I was like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
like hands down, like respect. Y'all do this
Yeah.
for yeah, you know. So I was just like, damn, you know, it was a different look on things, different take on, you know, that side of the spheres, being a parent. And I was only doing it at halftime, and I was just an
Mhm.
uncle. But I can only imagine what it is to be like a parent.
Yeah.
I don't have any kids, but you know, I can only imagine. So then the second year, I started working with Federico Archuleta, which is a local graffiti artist. He's a really good artist, really cool, really in the scene right now as far as art goes. He's got a lot of work around town, and I like that. He's a pretty underground artist. If you see his work, you'll recognize it. But you know, he's got a really good following, and I was really honored to start working with him on different projects. And then from there, we just kind of built a dynamic and kind of took off from there. And we help each other out, and he has really good ideas, really good concepts. He's really crafty on how he fabricates his stencils and his images, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that. I still work with him, sort of an apprenticeship. Well, it is an apprenticeship.
Oh, cool.
I like working with him.
Yeah.
It's been a good experience. We're both from El Paso, so
Oh.
that solidified the relationship that we had. So I met him at one of his East openings, and it was on Cesar Chavez, and then the theme was I think it was themed tacos. The theme, and I used to sell tacos out of a tricycle.
Really?
And I saw one of those there, and I thought it was super cool because I knew that they had brought it in from Mexico, just the style that it was. I could tell that frame, that particular model, was the one that you see all over the place in Mexico, selling different things. And that's where I met him, and I kind of introduced myself, and I was like, hey, you know, I'm from El Paso too, yada yada yada, and I showed him a picture of my little taco trike, and yeah, from there we just started working together. And
That's so cool. Is he the other artist that your work was displayed together at the Mexican Art Museum? No?
No, not.
Oh, okay.
And not to my knowledge, I haven't had any work displayed with alongside Federico, but he does have a couple pieces that he's shown before. He's done some work with them too. But no, are you talking about the South by show? Or
I remember one of your posts. It was like for paintings and.
Oh, okay, the mix and mash. Yeah. So that's something they do every year, and it's really great for the community. You pick up these 12 by 12 boards, and there's usually a theme, but you're not really required to participate with the theme at the time. But it's really cool to see people's take on the current theme. So it's pretty much open to anybody, and it's a good way to involve the community. And out of it, you get a membership at the museum, which is really cool. It's a really cool museum. And I always submit 2 pieces, and I just have fun with one being the theme, and then just one other one just freehand freestyle of whatever I'm choosing.
Nice. Cool. When was the last time that they had your artwork up there?
So I had a show at the South by Southwest.
Oh, the most recent one?
This most recent one. I did the Changarrito, which they chose an artist to represent a changarrito, which is pretty much like a pop-up vendor mechanism that it's used a lot in different parts of the world, but you see it a lot in Mexico. They set them up to sell clothes, sell food, sell literature. So they had a artist from Mexico fabricate one for art for one of his pieces, and he ended up donating it to the Mexicarta Museum. So every year they choose an artist to represent the museum through their Changarrito exhibition, and this most recent one was the one that I did during South by. It was really cool. It was really great to have that opportunity.
Awesome.
And they bought some of my pieces. Señora Celia, she's the director of the museum, so whenever they purchase pieces, they archive them for their permanent collection, just to have a record of which year which artist was chosen.
That's dope. Wow, what an honor.
Yeah, man, it was really cool. I look at those pictures and I'm like, man, you know, when things like that happen, it happens so fast that you're in it, and then you don't even realize, you know, how special of an occasion it is, or what an honor it is to represent someone or something like that until you know it's over, or you talk about it, and then someone else is like, wow, that's crazy, and you know, I was just like, oh, okay, cool, I finally got a spot at the Mexicarte, because I'm usually there at the exhibitions, at the openings, trying to talk to people, meet people, and they extended the offer at the Mix and Mash for this year, and well, I didn't even think twice. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
cool.
I'm down.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I mean, when I think of Mexican art, like that's the first place I think of, and it's in the heart of downtown on Congress, so just thinking that so many people have seen your pieces, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's a good spot.
Yeah.
It's been there since 1984.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been there for a while.
I didn't know that.
And they're always having special guests from Mexico City or different parts of Mexico, different parts of the United States, international. So it's a really good museum. I like it. It's always fun.
Yeah.
Their openings are always great.
The food. When you were there, oh my God. I was like,
they always have really good sponsors. So that helps out a lot too.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool. So were you born in Mexico or in El Paso?
I was born in El Paso, and then we went back to Mexico. And then when I was old enough to start school, my parents wanted me to learn English and go in the American school system, and that's when we decided to make the move and migrate over to the United States. And yeah, the rest is history. I've been here, but I always visited home. I call it home. You know, back Mexico. Every summer vacation, my summer vacation wasn't Disneyland or you know, like a water park. It was down south, you know.
Yeah.
Go back to the farm, go back to the ranch, and I was just, you know, that was my vacations, and I was always tripped out because I'd be like, why is this our vacation? Like, there's no the roads are dirt, and I'm like pulling water out of a well. Like there wasn't electricity. It was like
Wow.
oil burning lanterns, and I was just like, why is this vacation? Like, I'm over here like, how was your summer vacation? You know, and I'm all like, I was, you know, peeing in an outhouse and
Wow.
you know, heating water to take a shower in a trough, and I mean, now looking back at it, I was, you know, I took it for granted, you know, because now I think it's really shaped who
It's
I am
humbling.
now.
Yeah.
And it just really shaped me having that experience growing up, because I didn't take anything for granted. When you're in, for the people that do live like that, that's their everyday life, you know.
Yeah.
And I realized when I was older, well, that was a vacation, because we were getting away from the city.
Yeah.
And we were going back to my parents, you know, where all my family was, my cousins and all that, and talking with them. But for me, it was just normal. It was just, we were visiting our family. But other people, I know other people, you know, they'll take these vacations to resorts to try to emulate like a certain experience like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was great. You know, I remember when they finally got an electrical post for electricity with a light switch.
What part of Mexico is this?
This was in Chihuahua,
Okay.
in the Chihuahuan desert. So
Wow.
this was it was like Delicias, Mioki, Villumada, Tamalayuca, so Durango. So there's all these little rural areas. So you know, there's no paved roads, and people are like live in adobe houses, and yeah, so you know, there was a lot of outhouses, and when you go visit people's houses, and if they had a little bit more money, then they'd have plumbing and stuff. But for the most part, there was that experience, you know, living in an adobe house, a well,
Wow.
oil burning lanterns, an outhouse, you know, just working the land. And then the you know, like, and then the outing was everybody would get ready, and then we'd drive into town.
What's the closest big city or a town?
The closest big city from that was Chihuahua, like actual big city. But then from Villumada it was Juarez. And it was about an hour and a half drive.
So like, did they have farm animals, or like, did they go to grocery shopping?
No, they had like chickens and cows.
Oh,
and
okay.
They were really big on cheese. So there was a lot of cows. Main form of any kind of financial income was having cows for milk, for cheese products, and yeah, so really good cheese.
Wow.
Yeah, all types of cheese.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Are your parents still there?
They visit still. They visit, but they're not there anymore. But they still visit. I think they just visited like last week. I think they're gonna go this weekend for Father's Day. So yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot. I mean, it's a very dry part. So it's hard to kind of establish yourself there, since there's not a lot of I guess what you could say, there's not a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like a drive-by town when you're going to the capital, Chihuahua. So it's pretty much just a strip of tourism, and then that's it.
That's
bus makes a
crazy.
stop, people get off and eat, and then they just keep going.
Wow.
So there's a lot behind the main strip, but it's very historical. It's got a train station. The train still runs through it. All that part, all of Chihuahua was basically what you were having during the Zapatista movement. So there's a lot of heritage there, history of Zapatistas, and you know, there's people that talk about, you know, being descendants of the army of Pancho Villa, and you hear of people interacting with the general himself, and you know, all these accords of gunfights and all this stuff that was happening. Because I mean, the Revolutionary War happened in 1911, so I mean, it's it's still fairly, I mean, not recent, but it's a little bit over 100 years. But I mean, that's your great grandparents
Yeah, it's in human history. It's nothing.
probably experienced it. So your grandparents were probably teenagers or very young, being around, and anything like that. So.
That's crazy. So, your arts, I mean, I could see that you draw a lot of inspiration from your heritage. I mean, how would you describe like your art? Because I know there is Mexican influence for sure.
So for sure, I do pull my color palette from Mexico. For sure, I've always been around a lot of bright colors, and it's always something that I've always gone back to, is just these bright colors that I saw growing up, either houses painted like that or shops or vestments. Just a lot of bright colors, and then I use a lot of references to, you know, how I grew up in the farm life, to just kind of use the materials that I'm dealing with kind of in a resourceful way. So when I deal with sculptures, I do a lot of found object. So I transform these materials that are everyday materials, and I just pretty much defunctionalize them, and I turn them into a piece. I mean, it's super simple, but it's about being resourceful.
Yeah.
And growing up with limited resources, and seeing how you can reuse things and not discard them.
Right.
You know, just give them a different purpose. So I take it to the next level, and the purpose I give them is no purpose. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. So what materials have you used?
I used an old barn door, motorcycle parts, use buckets, rope. I mean, I have a blast at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the other day someone asked me, where do you go to relax? Because I shop. I go to wherever they said, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I shop too. And she's like, oh, what do you like what kind of clothes do you like to buy? No, I shop at Home Depot. I was like, I just kind of look around and I imagine, like, okay, if I do this, I'll do that. And then I look at the price and I'm like, okay, I know I can get this cheaper or free. You know, because a lot of people in Austin throw away a lot of really good things.
I know.
Austin is so wasteful in that bulk pickup is pretty much Candyland for me.
Yeah.
There's people throwing out really good things, and I don't know if they just got new things, or they just don't see the value in it anymore, or they just don't care. And
all of the above.
You know, all that, and that's where I come in, and I'm like, yo,
it's gold. It's Ulysses gold.
It's my gold. I can do so much stuff with this.
Yeah.
And then I kind of get it together, and I put it together. Get it together and put it together. and I make it better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put it together, get it together, and make it better. And I transform it into gold.
That's awesome.
You know, kind of like Midas's touch. So I pretty much get a hang of what I'm using, and there's like people throw out drum sets, hollowed out drums, like I was telling you earlier, buckets. They'll do a remodel and they'll have a lot of sheets of plywood.
Yeah.
I go to the Austin Recycling Center for paint.
Yeah, I heard about that place.
Yeah, so if you're an artist, you have access to a special shed that they have spray paints, painting material, house paint at the quart level, gallon, 5 gallon level. So the intention is to reuse it for art.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy going there because I have a really good time choosing paint and yeah, so I mean the stuff's out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You don't have to waste a lot of money to have good things.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit of energy and drive to transform something into something else, or want to just be resourceful and not fill landfills with things that are still good.
Yeah.
'Cause in Mexico, you hang on to what you have for a while. You see old furniture in these houses from the 70s, the 60s. Why? They just reupholster it and it's still good. Here people are throwing couches out left and right.
Yeah.
Go to Guad, right there where all the dorms are,
exactly.
the apartments, all the student housing. Man, a heyday there.
I know.
Furniture, lamps, clocks, clothes, hangers, vacuums, carpets,
Everything.
cushions, shoes, cars. I don't know about cars, but I'm pretty sure they throw a car away if they could.
Like just the bare shell, probably. Yeah.
Like, you know what? I don't want this car anymore. Leave the keys on the hood with the sign free.
Right? That's why I like just going to Goodwill and just poking through stuff, because anything I get there is like cheap and I can just take it apart anyway and repurpose it. That's what I do with like clothes or like props and stuff for photo shoots.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. There's also Blue Hanger. Have you heard of Blue Hanger? It's a Goodwill store out on Ben White or by the airport.
Maybe. I don't.
Oh. Well, I mean,
I'll check it out.
Of course, dumpster diving is free compared to Goodwill, but you buy by the pound.
Oh, okay.
So I got, oh man, tons of shit for like $10. Maybe like 20 things. So I got like a big like bathroom mirror that goes on a wall for only $3.99. It's insane. And then like they have a bell that goes off because they like cycle through with the bins. It's crazy. It's like a swap meet or like a meat market, and people are just kind of like waiting until the next
Blue
round.
Hanger.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you should check it out. So cool. I know that you said that you wanted to bring in a sculpture for me for the set at least. I wanna pay you for one though.
Yeah, you're fine. I'm always, like I told you, I'm always working. Every day I do something artistic or creative, just for the sake of having constant work.
Right.
Just being always creating something, I feel helps develop new projects. Because you can think of something in the middle of what you're currently working on, and you can jot it down for a next project. And I mean, you gotta stay busy as a creative person, and then just keep it going. And you can take some time off, but I think it's really, really important to whatever it is that you are passionate about and you're serious about, at least do it every day.
Yep.
Every day until you become better and better. And it's like people that play video games. It's a perfect example. Those people play every day and they end up getting really good. Anybody pick up a video game, even if you don't play video game, I bet you play every day, a month in, you're gonna be kicking ass.
Yeah.
Or you're getting the hang of it. You know the buttons. You start learning shortcuts. You get
right.
You start learning the language.
Yeah.
It's the same with anything else. You gotta practice, and even when you don't want to, you still gotta do it. There's sometimes I don't feel like drawing, rarely, but I'm like, okay, I have to at least do something quick.
Right.
And then just document it, and then finish it, put it away, and then you stay current, you stay fresh, and you keep creating.
Yeah, I always tell myself, like, you can only get better. You can never get worse. And if you keep, like, real artists, I mean, not to, like, say this person's a real artist and this one's not, but, like, you don't have to wait for a commission or you don't have to wait for a paid job. You just keep on doing it until the quality of your work is just, it's going to be worth a lot more than if you didn't practice in between. You know what I mean?
Of course. It's like a river or a pool. If there's not a flow of energy going through it or anything moving it, it develops algae. You get sediment and it just settles, and since nothing's moving it just turns into this water that's infested. They got pools if you don't clean them, riverbeds at the greenbelt, little pockets of water.
Yeah.
Since there's still water, it just develops this muck inside of it, and I feel like it's really important to take notice of how nature does that. So you can apply that to yourself, and you just keep constantly moving and creating waves and networking and honing yourself so you don't stay stagnant.
Right.
Once you stay stagnant, it's you get used to it. People get used to just doing the bare minimum, and it becomes a social norm. So a lot of people just do the bare minimum and keep going, and then they get used to that and they think it's okay. But if you're trying to make a name for yourself, you gotta throw a lot of energy into it, create every day, talk to people, so you don't stay stagnant and turn into muck, because then you're just gonna go nowhere. And if you have a goal, then you need to throw a lot of your time and invest into completing it so it can happen. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Not everybody can tell you a great success story. And there's a reason for that.
Yep.
Because it's not.
Success can't be done without failure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, you know what I mean. Not complete failure, but.
Yeah, and if you fail completely, then fuck it. Start all over again.
Yep.
Just don't stay still.
Yep.
You can't stay still. This world doesn't work like that.
Right.
You can't stay still.
I mean, breaks are good, like hiatuses, but then I found, like, with me, I had like a 3-year hiatus, and then I know some artists that are just getting back to painting after like a year, and it's amazing how much like your style can just evolve just from resetting your brain, because it's like a muscle, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not constantly exercising it, and then it's like, oh wow, you're working me out again, and now you're finding that like there are different muscles that you didn't tap into last time. So
yeah, because I know now that I don't want to say I was a lazy artist. I think lazy's it's a self-harming word. I was just distracted. It's just other things were priorities. But now that I focused a lot of my energy for art, I just see myself talking about it more and doing more with it. I made a switch in jobs, and now I work at the art museum, at the Contemporary Art Museum at Laguna Gloria.
That's not.
I work in the Visitor Service Center, which they now have a beautiful gift shop, it's got a lot of nice things in it. We have store associates that do a really good job about having a variety of items for different tastes, and it's all really cool, and it's just really exciting to be around art and talk about it and see people that value art as much as you do and that are willing to invest in it. It's always, because it is a non-profit, and we have people donating money, signing up for memberships, and it's really cool to see that people do support artwork, and it's inspiring as an artist to see that, and it adds value to my work.
Yeah, totally. So you only started that job like a couple months ago.
Yeah, like a month and a half ago. Yeah, so but yeah, I started a month and a half ago. Before that, I was working at Starbucks for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, just one day I just told myself, okay, what's your excuse to stay there? Why are you still here? Now it's a choice. The first year you're trying it out. The second year you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to figure out what I'm doing. The third year you're kind of starting to actively make a choice to stay somewhere, or you're getting comfortable, you're standing still. So I told myself, I'm making it a choice now. And I wasn't I was investing more time and energy into that job than into investing for my artwork. So I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice. I'm like, okay, I need to work in something that's related to what I do, which is art. Because if I keep working at Starbucks, then I'm just gonna do Starbucks.
Yeah, it's
You know,
soul sucking.
It's a
I bet.
corporate
Yeah.
entity. I'm not really that valuable.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to really just realize that what value am I going to put on my time, and just noticing that someone else can do my job there.
You're replaceable.
And I made the move towards the art museum, and I've really enjoyed it so far.
Good for you.
So yeah, I just turned 30, so I decided that I needed to make a change and just start a new chapter, which is really developing my foundation as an artist, and just stop being distracted and do stuff. You know, and just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I'm happy for you.
Either I'm gonna do it or I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, but it all starts by making a decision and then just following through with it. And yeah, like you were saying, you can fail. I can fail. I failed before because I mean I haven't. It's taken me 30 years to finally have this type of thinking. You know, when I didn't have it when I was 22, 23, when I lived in San Antonio. So I mean, you know, it's failure, doing it, just making a decision. I mean, it's never too late.
Yeah. Yeah, 30s is a magical decade. I'm like halfway through and I'm already having an existential crisis.
You're good. You're good.
But so I saw you're working on a mural right now.
Yeah, so I'm developing a design for a mural that I'm probably going to start next month. I'm working currently on one with Federico. But I'm sorry, Federico, I've been really busy with other things, and he told me the other day too, and he's like, hey man, like, you know, I understand you're doing your stuff too, but you know, I feel that I want to help him too. But I also have this project that I'm about to start, so I'm working on a design, and my wonderful parents, I don't know why they did this, they gifted me an iPad, and I had been trying to get one for a while.
Oh, sweet.
And yeah, so they gifted me an iPad, and I really hadn't, you know, dabbled with the digital sphere of artwork. I've always been very traditional, very hands-on. But I mean, we live in a very digital age, so if I want to stay current and you know, compete with these other artists, I'm gonna have to have a digital interface. So I take pictures of the walls or the spaces that I want to put a mural on, and then I draw over that space with a program, and I take it and I present it to the potential client, and that's what I did with this one. So
that's dope.
This is my first project with the iPad that I'm using it for its intents and purposes. My birthday was the 23rd, so until now.
Are we that close? Our birthdays?
I think so, yeah.
I'm May 21st.
Yours are the 21st.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Just hit me.
So, yeah, I'm not wasting any time right now. Just like, I don't want to just lose time with you know, the goals that I have for myself, and
yeah,
one of them was to use the iPad for murals. So yeah, I'm doing that. I usually put a lot of my projects on my stories. I don't put a lot of posts. I try to, but I think I'm more involved with the stories.
Yeah.
I put a lot of the stuff I'm doing on stories, and then here and there I'll put up a post, which I do need to work on. I'm just trying to get used to being very active on on Instagram at least. It's a powerful platform.
It is.
So, I do realize that. So even though I don't want to,
Yeah.
I have to clock in and do the work.
Right.
Because that is also an audience that, they deserve to see my stuff too. And I need to realize the value of Instagram and what it brings to me as an artist.
Right.
But yeah, I have going on the being current on Instagram. I put up a post for a live demo I'm gonna have the 23rd next Sunday.
Yeah, I saw.
I have my work currently right now at Vida Pura Juicery, which is on Manor Road. It used to be the old Ingredients, but it's a really cool juice shop. They make cold pressed juices and acai bowls and avocado toast. Everything's really fresh. They have these turmeric shots I'm hooked on. It's just a shot of turmeric and like ginger, and I think that's it.
Wow.
And yeah, man, it's good. It's good stuff, and I have my work up there. And they gave me the wonderful opportunity to showcase for the month of June.
Nice.
And on the 23rd, I'll be doing a spray paint demo on one of the designs that I have in the shop. It's very fun, very accessible, very DIY. I think anybody could do it. It's just about being resourceful and applying it. And I'm gonna teach people how to make those stencils and
cool
those designs.
What day does that fall on?
It's a Sunday, the 23rd.
What time?
From 1 to 3.
Damn.
Yeah.
I work Sundays.
You work Sundays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw, please take a bunch of stories, because
I'm gonna do a live feed. So
yeah. Okay.
It's my first time doing like a live feed or stories. It's gonna feel a little bit weird. Having, the actual physical audience and then knowing that there's a secondary audience at home. I don't know. The digital world it's very current. As much as we try to ignore it, it has become a thing. I was reading this interview of Ai Weiwei in this book that we have at the museum, and they ask him if how he feels about the real world and the digital world, and he says it's a very real entity, and it was kind of sad to read that, because Ai Weiwei is such at least a prominent influence for me. All his work as an activist is really powerful, and I'm a person that's very anti-digital. I have a concept of how do we be more human, with all this digital stuff around us. And I was reading the interview, and he's kind of embracing it. So
yeah,
what can I learn from embracing, this digital world that is already very real?
Right.
So I guess I'm starting with Instagram, but I'm still gonna monitor a lot of my time in the Sims world. Sims.
I think as long as you have a good balance and really still humanize your content, then you're not so much like playing into the saturation of the experience,
Yeah.
But
that's very true.
Weiwei, is that the artist that had the bicycles on concrete?
Yeah, so the contemporary had this sculpture, Forever Bicycles on loan.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it left.
It's not there anymore?
No, it left the 15th of last month.
Oh, but it was there for a while.
Yeah,
longer than
there.
I thought it was going to be.
I think now it's moving to somewhere in Europe or Australia. I'm not too sure, but it was on loan. And it's crazy how they pieced that together. It was just pretty much a blueprint of instructions, pretty much, of how to put those bikes together. Yeah, like Ai Weiwei did like an IKEA sculpture, pretty much. And people put it together. The install team put it together, and
wow.
So Ai Weiwei wasn't present for that, but it is his project, And when you're an artist at that level, you're doing other things. He's also an architect that's involved with other projects. I mean, this guy's pretty badass. definitely shapes the way I think about what I do as an artist, or who am I as an artist, you know. And you can be an activist if you want with your art, or you can just do it for fun.
Right.
But I feel like I was telling you earlier, you know, it's my gift that I can give people. I don't have a lot of money. I don't, you know, have any other talent, you know, so I feel like I can communicate a message through art.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to just convey messages, be active through activism, through my pieces,
Right.
my sculptural pieces at least, as far as just trying to develop a concept around being resourceful, or any other current event that, you know, some people may not want to hear about. You know, I think it's really important to create dialogue with my work, so that people can better understand each other, because through dialogue, whether we agree with them or not, there's still a conversation happening. And as bad as that may sound, it's just, you need to have that dialogue, because a lot of beliefs are inherited. They're passed down by whoever raised you, or whatever you were around. So as adults, we start to kind of be aware more of our individuality, and kind of not agree with either A, our parents, or B, our siblings, or C, our best friend from childhood, or your teachers, because you start developing your own personal identity. So by having these conversations, you kind of more or less see, okay, well, I don't like this, I don't like that, I think this is important, I think people need to know about this. So we break down these walls, and I feel with my sculptures or installations, I can communicate that concept and engage people in having active dialogue. So they just better understand each other. And I mean, start from there is just giving each other the space to listen to each other, and then maybe start from there to break down these walls that have been inherited. Because if you think about it, you know, children aren't biased.
Yeah.
They're taught to be biased.
Right.
They pick up certain philosophies or ideas. You know, so they grow up with really just blindly listening to these things, and as an adult, you mature into these ideas that were drilled into you.
Yep.
So we all have a choice. We all have a choice to do something about our way of life, or our happiness, or but it's your choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't make decisions for you. They can influence them. Yeah, they can talk to you and manipulate you, but at the end of the day, it's you making a choice, because it's your life, and you decide what you want for yourself. And there's a lot of things going on where other people are telling other people what's right for them, and I think that's bullshit. You know, it's your life, and mind your own goddamn business.
Yep.
Straight up, like, just real talk. Like, you want your hair purple? Do it. You know, you want to wear that? Wear it.
Right.
You want to think that? Wear it. Whether it's good or bad, just don't fuck shit up.
Yep.
Just be a good person, and don't try to harm anybody with your opinions. You know, and I think it's something really important that if I can just help a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, it can go a long way with just a simple art piece.
Right.
You know, just with the string. You know, just but that string has a concept. People talk about it. People create dialogue, have conversations that maybe in another space they wouldn't have. So you create a space for a conversation. I want to create a space for a conversation, because Ai Weiwei's shown me that it's really helpful, and it can be done.
Yeah. Totally. I agree. Yeah, that's wonderfully said, actually. But yeah, like, art, what makes art is a reaction to it, right? And like how you can get others to speak, even if it's something that, like, you totally disagree with, just you like stating your opinion and why you don't like it is creating that dialogue.
Yeah.
And
of
as an
course.
artist, I mean, you can, like, as an activist, you can bear that responsibility of also, like you said, like changing the pattern of thinking, especially like, you know, just scrolling through Instagram. Like, I look at art all the time, but if there's something that's like, what, like, just, I don't know, just that immediate reaction right there can like change someone's way of thinking. Like,
Yeah, art doesn't have to be pretty.
right.
You know, there's a misconception of people that believe that art is just pretty portraits or marble sculptures or landscapes or Monets. Like, I mean, it is that, but art isn't just one thing. Art is everything. Art
Yeah.
is all your emotions. Art can make you angry. Art can make you cry.
Yeah.
Art can make you depressed. Art can make you laugh. That's all that art is, and I feel that people just really need to open their mind to what art is and what concepts come with that.
Right.
Whether it's shock art or whether it's portrait art.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's very important that that individuals keep producing art. I would hate to see humanity without art. I think art's always been something we do. Look at art history, it's very prominent documentation. People in art history, they just look at art history, it's pretty much the history of society at the time. Whether it's frescoes or cave paintings or little sculptures or giant pyramids, it's relevant to the time. You know, so what's gonna go down in art history by our art? You know, if people aren't listening to art or artists aren't creating, then what's gonna go down in the books for our time?
Right.
Because I mean, our time's gonna keep going. You know, we've been doing the same stuff for ages.
Yeah.
It all repeats. It all stays current. Wars, philosophies, theories, advances in mathematics, science, technology. We've, you know, like, it's crazy. And yeah, I never really thought about it that way until I saw this sculpture, this little piece, and it was a triangular character. It was a humanoid sculpture, you know, and you look at it, and it was dated, I think maybe a couple thousand years, and you know, I feel it discredits the society at the time when they analyze it, and they say that since it was pre-Renaissance, this is why they sculpted like this. They didn't really understand the anatomy of humans and musculature and shaping arms and bullshit, dude. You have Egyptians or whoever building these giant monoliths, these sculptures, these temples, and you're telling me they don't possess the knowledge to sculpt a person?
Yeah.
Like the size of their palm, dude.
Yeah.
It was just style choice. It was what was current,
Right.
what was relevant in their society.
Yep.
And you know, there's very much pictures of art
Yeah.
and what was relevant, and there's periods in art and what was relevant in art. I think yeah, we learned to do new things, but I mean, are they gonna look at Impressionism 1,000 years from now and say these guys didn't know how to paint? Because they're gonna compare it to realism post-Renaissance,
Yeah.
and they're gonna say, oh, this was like the epitome of art.
Right.
No, it's just style.
Yeah.
It's just style and experimenting with it, and you know, nothing is discredited. It's current. And it's accurate of the time. The time.
Yeah, art it's so subjective that there's like no right or wrong or like good or bad. Like even artists or art that we think is like bad or maybe like just like amateur, like just just starting it. Of course it's it's going to get better over time, but like I always like reading the stories behind art pieces, like the artists themselves, because like even if you might not think that piece is like that great, but like what if the artist was like, you know, autistic or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it took so much out of them just to express themselves in this one piece, and it's not even the piece that makes it's the person's heart and the meaning behind it or reasons why they create. um like for instance, like I have a friend who makes bow ties, and it's like to normal persons like bow ties are everywhere, but she made bow ties because she was in an abusive relationship, and making bow ties and keeping herself busy distracted her from this toxic relationship. And she was actually a guest on my show.
Cool.
But just hearing stories like that, it's inspiring. Like you don't have to like the work that they do, but just knowing that there's someone out there that they can relate to, it just, I don't know. I guess that's what would make like the future with AI and robots, just it would be hard for them to tap into that human connection.
Yeah, to understand that.
Right.
And that's a piece, a documentation of what humans, emotionally were capable of, is developing these concepts.
Right.
And having this narrative
Mm-hmm.
behind a piece that maybe down the road 1,000 years from now it's kind of hard to understand. Like we now have a hard time understanding why there's pyramids all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
We might come to a point where we think, why was there so much narratives in art pieces? What was going on with society? Like, what were they doing that they had the time to build these narratives? They weren't, obviously, I guess they were better off than previous civilizations. We didn't worry about basic necessities, so we have time to develop these narratives so then they'll document, okay, so they were pretty well off, they weren't really in a drought or anything like that, whatever it is. But yeah, making a concept and developing it, and then reading the narrative behind the piece, like you were saying with the bow ties.
Mm-hmm.
That makes that piece that much more stronger as a piece than, like you were saying, just bow ties, because then you understand why they're bow ties and why they were tied a certain way, why they're a certain color, and then I tie it back to, because art, it doesn't have to be pretty.
Yeah.
You make it what you want it, and what the message you want to give people, the dialogue you want people to start having, because there might be somebody that was in the same situation, and when they read this, it makes them feel like, hey, someone else has experienced this.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates this dialogue, and it lets them have this conversation in that space where they can openly talk about something like that.
Yeah, it breaks the ice.
Yeah, and it maybe makes other people that have done that before kind of, realize that, hey, like what you are doing right now is kind of shitty, or there might be someone in the room that is going through that at the time,
Right.
and they maybe they feel like there's no way out, but they see this piece and they realize there is a way out.
Mm-hmm.
You can come out of this, so it's really important. That's why I'm saying, like, I was reading that article about Ai Weiwei, and then I told myself, well, what am I doing as an artist besides painting pretty pictures? Like, what am I doing as an artist when Ai Weiwei is throwing the finger at Mao? Like, what am I doing? It really makes me think about how I can, just give back to people make them think a little bit
Right.
about pressing issues that, you know, maybe a lot of people don't want to talk about. And I think bow ties is a really good way of using a material to convey a really strong narrative. I don't know who you're talking about, but just by what you're telling me, you know, it's a really cool piece. It's very conceptual, very contemporary piece, you know, and so that's something I'd probably like to look at.
Nice. Aw.
Yeah, and it sounds cool. It sounds cool, you know, like you just gotta make those people think and talk and have conversations on touchy subjects, and everybody else is just gonna keep quiet.
Totally. I agree. So what can we expect from you? Sorry, we hit our 1 hour, 6 minute mark.
Already?
Isn't it crazy?
Damn.
So we have that event coming up June
23rd, from 1 to 3 on Sunday at Vida Pura Juicery. I'm also applying for East.
Nice.
So
it's in the like October, right?
Like November.
November.
Okay. Right now it's open submissions, so if anybody out there knows of a space, because I'm actively looking for a space to showcase my work.
I've actually when I first learned of East, do you remember Pine Street Station?
No.
So like it was this awesome space before the whole East side, like East 5th, got fucked and gentrified, but whatever.
Yeah.
But it was this really cool venue, and I was just walking my dog one day and I saw that they were setting up, and I was with my friend from Milwaukee, and he's more of an extrovert and I'm very introverted. Like, I'm not the type that just like approaches strangers, but he was just like, oh, hey, what's going on here? And they're like, oh, we're setting up for an art show. And he was like, oh, we're both photographers. And like the girl was really cool, and she was like, oh yeah, like if you want to bring some art, just, you know, stop by later. So I was technically like an unofficial East artist, because like I wasn't on the roster, but she let me hang my stuff there. So maybe you could find like galleries that you can just, you know, get involved, but not, you know, officially.
Yeah, because I have some pretty cool concepts that I'm working with right now as far as sculpture goes that I think I would really like for Austin to see.
How big are they?
Some are small. I have another piece that I'm working with fence.
Ooh, like a chain link fence?
Chain link fence.
Cool.
And I'm messing around with neon and imagery. So I would really like to show that somewhere. I'm working with that. So I'm also putting together an exhibition for mid-August with the Invisible College. So it's
what's that?
It's 2 other artists and myself, and we're developing projects for an exhibition mid-August that just deal with deep space for one artist.
Ooh.
Deep space, and another artist dabbles with the sense of geometry present in an organic world, and then the work that I do as an activist. So we're doing that mid-August. So I've got a couple dates coming up for more work. So
Cool.
yeah, stay tuned.
And we can find you. Are you only on Instagram, or are you on like Facebook?
No,
or?
yeah, I'm only on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's as much as y'all are gonna get from me on the internet. Yeah, I only clock in and check in on Instagram. So it's Ulysses, ULYS _ gold GOLD.
Awesome.
And I'm pretty active on there. So
cool.
yeah.
And you are always taking commissions.
Always taking commissions.
What kind of commission work do you get? Like portrait, or like what type of?
So I get a lot of questions about paintings murals inside of rooms.
Mm.
So personal houses and,
Oh, cool.
and rooms. So I get a lot of inquiries about that. Usually for mural work, I'm the one who's on foot, kind of like a door-to-door salesman. Like just telling them your
Yeah.
business needs this.
Yeah.
And this is why. Because
Yeah.
if it's not gonna happen, I'm not that big yet that people are actively seeking me for beautifying their property. So right now I have to put in the work. So later on it switches and people are commissioning me for commercial murals or personal murals on businesses because they want a piece of my artwork on their business to attract my work attract more to them. But for the most part right now it's just very very low key inside of houses and whatever I do as far as mural work.
Cool. How long does it take you to finish a mural? I mean, I guess depending on the size, but like...
Yeah, but generally I'll try to work quick. Also, I take into consideration their budget.
Sure.
When designing something, deadlines when they want expected time of completion. So then I'll kind of more or less modify my design to that just to facilitate the whole process in its entirety. 'Cause people don't want you at their property for 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
Just working once out of a week. So
right.
once I get a mural, I'll pretty much try to work on it every day until I finish, and then bring on board someone else. So right now, I have one of the other artists from the Deep Space that's about to help me on this other project. So. So the more hands the merrier, and I'm always open to have people work with me, just involve the community. So the more hands, the quicker I get done.
Right.
And the faster the community gets to see a finished work of art.
Yeah.
And people get to say that they helped paint that.
Nice. That's cool that you open that.
Yeah, I try to use the resources I have. More hands is better.
Well, I'm excited for you. We'll look out for that thing. What's the name of the space something? Is it?
Oh, okay, so it's called the Invisible College.
Invisible College.
Yeah, and then it's the two artists, one that deals with deep space, and then the other artist that deals with acrylic geometry and organic world, and then my artwork, my activist work.
Dope. Nice. Yeah. I feel like I should go in there tripping on shrooms or something.
Something, man. But so I'm looking for a venue for that too, but so far I'm pretty on board about having it in my apartment. So I work out of the space where I live in. So yeah, I don't.
Me too.
I don't have a TV. I don't have an entertainment system.
Good for you. No distractions.
No, yeah. So I pretty much, as soon as I open the door, I'm working.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna transform that space into a gallery space and just work with installation and all that jazz and just set it up mid-August. So.
Dope.
I mean, if a space comes up, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I mean, where you live and work, it's a guaranteed spot.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with working out of your home.
Yeah. I would hate to. I mean, I liked shooting outdoors and all, but having people come to my studio was so nice for me.
Yeah.
And I could set like my schedule and whatever.
With me, I'd be dealing with installation, so it'd be really nice to just be able to finish and just be like, okay, I'm done, fuck it, and then just go into the next room and go to sleep.
Right?
And then wake up and be ready to pick up where I left off. So that's why I'm doing it like that, and and also showing people how you can transform a space that you live in and just be resourceful.
Yep.
Like, what do you do with what you have available?
Right.
How do you resource your materials that you have?
Yep, I'm all about resourcefulness.
So,
Because I'm cheap. But it also forces you to be creative, too, so.
yeah, man, it puts your brain to work.
Right?
And like I was telling you earlier, people don't want to do that.
I know.
You know, resourcefulness takes some energy.
Yeah, people would just rather pay for something new. But
and throw it out.
if you can afford it, I'm not hating, but artists like your garbage, so give them to us.
Even if you can afford it, you know, don't be like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's other people
That's first world problem right there.
Yeah. There's other people in the world that would keep that for a long time.
Yep.
Or that would look at it and be like, why are you throwing this out?
Right.
Like,
hell, like maybe I always like keep myself in check being Filipino, because like even in the Philippines, they, you know, there's poor areas where kids go through garbage and they take, you know, raw meat and they're still able to cook with it and just clean the food.
Yeah, I mean, we sometimes fail to realize that stuff.
Right.
So, you know, I feel like it's also, you know, my responsibility to be like, hey, you can still use this.
Mm-hmm.
You should still use this.
Yeah.
And transform it and do something, because we can't keep this pattern going of just throwing stuff out.
Yeah.
Or just thinking everything's trash.
Right.
Because it's not. You know, it's things that we buy or that we inherit, and we can just transform it into something else or gift it. But it's the easy way out. It's just put shit on the curb.
There's beauty in everything.
Yeah.
One man's garbage is another man's treasures.
I'm like, y'all don't want this? I'm not even gonna knock, because y'all probably can get freaked out. I'm just gonna take this.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was so nice talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad I'm able to be a part of this.
Totally.
Super grateful.
It's refreshing. Totally. I like talking art with other artists too.
Yeah, it's cool to.
Yeah. And even not just talking about art, but just like meeting the person behind the art. Everyone's so unique and special, and like even with the art that's reproduced, like even if there's so much that's similar to each other, just meeting the artist behind it makes it, you know, authentic. So
totally worth it. Gives it that human,
right?
The human feel.
Yep.
You know, who knows when it's gonna be gone.
I am a robot. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm actually an alien. So.
You're an alien. That's right. I forgot. What planet are you from?
Zoltron.
Zoltron. Right on. How many moons are out there?
5.
5. Right on. 5 moons.
Actually, so my my Filipino nickname, my family name, growing up, is Tintin, but 1010 has always been like my name, and I like it because it's like the Matrix. So like maybe I am a robot. I don't know. Anyway, so thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you.
And yeah, we look forward to your stuff coming up in August.
Yeah, I look forward to showing it to y'all.
Totally.
So that's what I'm working on right now, is just all my time and energy producing work, creating content, and showing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you can't see my work right now, then I have some work to do, so you can see it.
There you go.
So if you're gonna talk the talk, walk the walk.
Walk it like I talk
it. Do the robot. Walk it like I talk it.
Well, I do this at the end of every episode, but cheers with me, and we'll fade out.
Yeah, sure.
You guys have a good
Salud.
night. Thank you.
You can reach us at fatalpodcastatx@gmail.com or Instagram @fatalappeal.